Today, I'm going to make a construction paper chicken sitting in an Easter egg. I chose this project because this is something kids would make in class around this time of year. For this project, I'm going to use construction paper, one orange, one green, one white, two purple, and one yellow. I'm also going to use black paint, an unsharpened pencil, a sharpened pencil, scissors, markers, and a glue stick. By the way, the markers are for decoration purposes. If you don't have markers, that's totally fine. Use whatever you want to use to decorate. I'm using Sharpies because that's what I have on hand. First, we will be making the chicken. You will use yellow construction paper for the chicken's body. You could use the purple construction paper first to make the egg, but it doesn't matter. It's all about personal preference. As seen in the previous image, I folded the yellow piece of construction paper in half. Now, on this image, you see that I've already sketched an oval shape for the chicken's body. Then you just simply cut it out. Next, I'm going to start on the egg. As you can see, I'm using purple construction paper to make the egg. I folded the purple construction paper in half, one side for the back part of the egg and the other side for the front decorative side. In this image, I just simply sketched the back of the egg. Make sure it's about 3 times as big as the chicken's body. Now cut it out. Here's the back of the egg after cutting it out. This image is just an example of what the egg should look like compared to the chicken's body. This is the other half of the purple construction paper I said we would use for the front decorative side of the egg. In this picture, I'm comparing the half of piece of construction paper to the back of the egg that I've already cut out, just to make sure that everything is going to be symmetrical. This is an image of the front decorative side of the egg cut out. Next, make sure they are even and glue the perimeter of the front egg, leaving the top portion without glue to the back of the egg. The reason you want to leave the top portion without glue is if you glue it down, the chicken won't be able to slide in. Here's a picture of the front part of the egg and the back part of the egg glued together. In this picture, I'm just making sure that the chicken fit securely inside of the egg. Now we're on to decorating. As you can see in this photo, I used white construction paper as the background for the designs so they would show up better. With the white construction paper, I created stripes. After drawing the stripes, I cut out every other one. That way, when I glued them on the egg, it would be a purple, white pattern. And started gluing them on the front part of the egg. This picture is all 3 of the white construction paper stripes glued on the front part of the egg. After gluing on the stripes, I set the egg aside to dry. Now, I'm going to create the hands and the feet for the chicken. After gluing on the stripes, I set the egg aside to dry. Now, using the other half of the construction paper that we used to create the body, I'm going to create the hands and the feet for the chicken. Side note, I only drew one hand and one foot for the chicken because I used that hand and the foot that you see in this image and traced it to create the other set. In this image, I'm simply making sure that the hands and the feet are proportionate to the chicken's body. As you can see in this image, the chicken has 2 hands. I used one hand, traced it to create the second hand. And I did the same thing with the feet in this image. In this picture, I'm trying to figure out where I want to place the hands and the feet. I didn't want them too close together, but I didn't want them too far apart. And after you place them, next, glue the hands and the feet to the back of the chicken. Now, the way I did this was I made sure that the pencil marks that were on the hands and the feet from tracing were facing the back of the chicken. Therefore, when you're looking at the front of the chicken, you don't see the pencil marks. But if you forget to do that, I have a step that can help you later on in the slide. Now that the stripes have dried on the egg, I cleaned up the edges a little bit. When I say edges, I mean the perimeter where a little bit of the white maybe was hanging off of the egg. Next, I decorated the egg, which is pretty self-explanatory. I did simple designs, but this is your time to get creative. I'm not sure if you noticed or not, but on the sample picture, there was no grass. But I thought it would look better with grass, so therefore I added grass to the bottom of the egg. You notice on the previous image, I cut out a little piece of green construction paper, sketched some zigzags. Now, on this image, I cut out the zigzags. Then I cut out the grass to fit the bottom of the egg and glued it on. This is an image of the finished product of the egg. Next, we're going to move right back along to finishing the chicken. Now it's time to make the beak for the chicken. As you can see, I used a whole piece of orange construction paper, but all you need is a little scrap, literally the size of your fingernail, and cut that into a square. As you can see in this image, I created an imperfect square that I turned to create the shape of a diamond. And basically all I did from there was I folded the 2 edges together to kind of look like 2 triangles on top of each other. Now we have to make the little feather for the top of the chicken's head. In this image, I cut out a tiny heart-shaped piece of yellow construction paper. After cutting out the tiny piece of construction paper, I glued it to the back of the chicken's body. Next, I outlined the chicken's hands, feet, and feather on its head with orange Sharpie just to add a little detail. Then I added eyes and rosy cheeks. I used blue Sharpie for the eyes and orange Sharpie for the cheeks. And this is the finished product of the chicken. This is an image of the 2 final products side by side. And this is an image of the completed project. Now, you will notice in the video, I do not use the black paint or the unsharpened pencil. I was going to use the paint to make the eyes and then unsharpened pencil to dip in the paint so I could have nice round eyes. But instead, I decided to use Sharpie. Also, I did not use both sheets of purple construction paper. As you remember in the video, I just folded one piece of construction paper in half and used one side for one piece of the egg and the other side for the other piece of the egg. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope it was enough information for you to do this tutorial with the little ones in your family. Happy Easter.